Lisa Martinez wiped the sweat from her forehead as she finished fixing the air filter on Deck 7. Her blue work uniform was dirty from crawling through maintenance tunnels all morning. She looked at her watch and smiled. Finally, her shift was over. She walked through the bright corridors of Nexus Prime, the biggest space station humans had ever built. Through the large windows, she could see Earth spinning slowly below them. The blue and green planet looked peaceful. From up here, Lisa had been working on this station for 3 years now, fixing pipes and cleaning air systems. It was not glamorous work, but it paid well enough. Today was special though. Today she was going to buy something important. Lisa took the elevator to the upper levels where the fancy shops were. She had never been up here before. The corridors were wider and cleaner than where she worked. Strange alien music played softly from hidden speakers. The walls were made of smooth white stone that seemed to glow with its own light. She passed shops selling expensive clothes, rare foods from distant planets, and artwork made by alien artists. Everything looked too expensive for someone like her. But she kept walking until she found the store she was looking for. Stellar Crystals was written in golden letters above the entrance. Through the glass doors, Lisa could see beautiful gems, floating in the air, spinning slowly and casting rainbow colors on the walls. Her heart beat faster. This was it. Lisa pushed open the heavy doors and stepped inside. The store was bigger than her entire apartment. Crystals of every size and color filled glass cases around the room. Some were as small as her thumb, others as big as her head. They all seemed to glow with their own inner light. The air in the store felt different, almost electric. Lisa had heard that these crystals came from the Andromeda galaxy, millions of light years away. They were supposed to have special powers, though she did not really understand what that meant. Other customers moved slowly through the store, speaking in quiet voices. Most of them were not human. Lisa saw a tall Zephyrian with blue skin that sparkled like stars. Near the back wall, a crystal-like Vorthan examined gems with 6 arms. There were others too, aliens she did not recognize from races she had only heard about. All of them were dressed in expensive clothes. Their jewelry looked like it cost more than Lisa made in a year. She suddenly felt very small in her work uniform. A Vorthan with purple crystal skin approached her. His 4 eyes looked her up and down. "Can I help you?" he asked in perfect English, though his voice sounded like wind chimes. "I am looking for a small crystal pendant," Lisa said, trying to sound confident. "Something simple, for my daughter." The Vorthan's eyes dimmed slightly. "I see, the basic items are over there." He pointed to a small display case in the corner. "Those are more suitable for your budget." Lisa felt her cheeks get hot, but she walked over to the corner. The crystals here were much smaller than the ones in the main displays. They were still beautiful, but they did not glow as brightly. The prices were written on small cards beneath each one. Even these basic crystals cost more than Lisa made in 2 months. She had been saving every extra credit for almost a year. Her daughter Amy was graduating from the Terran Academy next week. Lisa wanted to give her something special, something that showed how proud she was. Amy had worked so hard to get into the academy. She studied alien languages and space engineering while other kids played games. Lisa had raised Amy alone. After her husband died in an accident on Mars, it had not been easy, but Amy never complained. She deserved something beautiful. Lisa picked up a small blue crystal about the size of a coin. It was the cheapest one in the case, but it still glowed with a soft light. The card said it was a minor energy crystal from the Centauri system. Lisa did not care where it came from. It was pretty, and Amy would love it. She was about to call the manager when she heard a loud voice behind her. "How disgusting," the voice said. "They let anyone in here now." Lisa turned around. The tall Zephyrian woman was staring right at her. The alien skin was a deep blue color with silver patterns that moved like living tattoos. Her hair floated around her head like she was underwater. She wore a dress that seemed to be made of liquid starlight. "Vera, what do you mean?" asked another customer, a red-skinned alien with 4 arms. The Zephyrian woman, Vera, wrinkled her nose. "Humans," she said the word like it tasted bad. "They smell like machinery and sweat. Look at this one, coming in here with her dirty clothes. Does she think this is some common market?" Other customers began to look in Lisa's direction. She felt her face burning with embarrassment. She looked down at her work uniform. It was clean, but it was old and had stains that would not come out. "They are such a young race," Vera continued, her voice getting louder. "Barely out of their own solar system for a few decades, and they think they can mix with civilized beings. My people have been traveling the stars for thousands of years." A thin alien with green skin nodded. "I heard they still fight wars with each other on their home planet." "Exactly," Vera said. "Primitive. They should stick to their own kind, in their own sections of the station." Lisa's hands shook as she held the crystal. She had worked for months to save enough money to come here. She just wanted to buy a gift for her daughter. She had not bothered anyone or caused any trouble. The Vorthan manager floated over, his crystal body making soft ringing sounds. "Is there a problem here?" he asked. Vera pointed at Lisa with one long finger. "This human is making other customers uncomfortable. Her energy signature is disturbing the crystals. Look, some of them have stopped glowing properly." Lisa looked at the crystals around her. They seemed fine to her, but she was not an expert. Maybe humans really did affect them somehow. "Perhaps," the manager said slowly, "it would be better if you shopped elsewhere. We have many distinguished customers today, and we must maintain the proper atmosphere." Lisa felt like she had been punched in the stomach. "I have money," she said quietly. "I can pay." "I am sure you can," the manager sighed, not sounding sure at all. "But perhaps you would be more comfortable in one of the shops on the lower levels. They cater more to your people." The other customers were all watching now. Some looked uncomfortable, but none of them said anything to help her. Lisa put the crystal back in its case. Her hands were shaking so badly she almost dropped it. She turned to leave, her face hot with shame. Behind her, she heard Vera laugh, a sound like silver bells that somehow made it even worse. Lisa took a deep breath and started walking toward the door. Each step felt heavy, like her boots were made of lead. The other customers watched her go, and she could hear them whispering behind her. "Finally," Vera said loud enough for everyone to hear. "Now we can shop in peace without that smell." Lisa stopped walking. She turned around slowly. "Excuse me?" Vera's silver patterns moved faster across her blue skin, a sign that Zephyrians were excited or angry. "You heard me, human. You people have a very unpleasant odor. It comes from your primitive biology. My people have evolved beyond such things." "I showered this morning," Lisa said quietly. "I am clean." Vera laughed again, that horrible bell sound. "Clean? You work in the dirty parts of this station, crawling through pipes like some kind of insect. You cannot wash that off. It gets into your skin, your hair, your clothes. Disgusting." The red-skinned alien with 4 arms moved closer. "Is it true that humans only live for about 100 years?" he asked. "That seems so short. What can you possibly learn in such a brief time?" "Not much, apparently," said the green-skinned alien. "Look how she dresses. Look where she works. If humans were truly intelligent, would they not have better jobs?" Lisa felt tears starting in her eyes, but she fought them back. She would not cry in front of these people. "There is nothing wrong with honest work," she said. "Honest work?" Vera stepped closer, and Lisa could smell something like flowers and electricity coming from her skin. "Humans call it honest because it is all you can do. My people create art that lasts for centuries. We write poetry that moves entire civilizations to tears. We build cities that float in space like jewels. And what do humans do? Asked the four-armed alien. You fix broken things. You clean up messes. You take care of the boring jobs that more advanced races do not want to do. The Vorthan manager made a sound like breaking glass, which Lisa thought might be laughter. They are useful, I suppose. Someone has to do the simple work. More customers had gathered now, forming a circle around Lisa. She felt trapped, like an animal in a cage. There were at least 10 aliens watching her, and all of them seemed to be enjoying the show. I heard, said a new voice, that humans are so primitive they still eat dead animals. This came from a tall, thin alien covered in what looked like silver fur. They kill other creatures and cook them with fire. How barbaric. Is that true? Vera asked, her eyes wide with fake surprise. Do you really eat meat, human? Lisa's face was burning now. Some humans eat meat, yes, some do not. We have choices, Vera repeated the word slowly. How? Quaint. My people learned to live on pure energy 3,000 years ago. We do not need to destroy other life forms to survive. But then again, said the four-armed alien, humans destroy everything they touch. Their home planet is covered with pollution. Their oceans are filled with garbage. They cut down their forests and poison their air. And now they want to spread that destruction to other worlds, added the silver-furred alien. They are like a virus multiplying and consuming everything around them. Lisa felt dizzy. The circle of aliens seemed to be getting tighter. Their voices were getting louder. She looked toward the door, but there were aliens blocking that path too. Please, she said, I just want to buy a gift for my daughter. I am not bothering anyone. Your daughter? Vera's voice was sharp with interest. You mean you have reproduced? You have made more humans? The way she said it made it sound like the worst thing in the world. Lisa lifted her chin. Yes, I have. A daughter. She is graduating from the academy next week. She is smart and kind and beautiful. I am sure she is, Vera said. But her tone made it clear she did not believe it. And I suppose you think buying her an expensive crystal will somehow make her more civilized? You cannot buy culture, human. You cannot purchase evolution. The crystal is not about culture, Lisa said. It is about love. It is about showing my daughter that I am proud of her. Love, the green-skinned alien made a sound like spitting. Humans always talk about love, as if emotional attachment could replace intelligence or breeding. Your attachment to your offspring is purely biological, Vera explained like she was talking to a child. Advanced races have moved beyond such primitive instincts. We care for our young because it is logical, not because of some chemical reaction in our brains. The Vorthan manager floated closer to Lisa. His purple crystal body was almost twice her height, and she had to look up to see his 4 eyes. Perhaps, he said in his wind chime voice, you should consider leaving now. You are clearly upset. And upset customers make other customers uncomfortable. She is not a customer, Vera said quickly. Look at her. Does she look like she can afford anything in this store? She is probably just here to steal something. I am not a thief, Lisa said, her voice getting louder despite herself. I work hard for my money. I saved for months to come here. Months? The four-armed alien seemed amazed. It took you months to save enough for one small crystal? How much? Do humans earn for their simple work? Lisa felt her cheeks burning again. She did not want to admit how little she made compared to these wealthy aliens. Her salary was good for a human, but she could see now that it was nothing to people like this. Not very much, I would guess, Vera said with a smile that showed too many teeth. Humans are not very valuable. Anyone can do the work they do. Even machines could replace them easily. Then why do we keep them around? Asked the silver-furred alien. Cheap labor, said the green-skinned one. And someone has to clean up after civilized beings, like pets, Vera added. Useful pets that can follow simple instructions. The circle of aliens laughed at this, a horrible mixture of sounds that made Lisa's head hurt. She looked around desperately, trying to find a way out. But everywhere she looked, she saw alien faces looking down at her with amusement or disgust. "I think," said the Vorthen manager, "that you should leave now, before security has to escort you out." Lisa nodded, not trusting herself to speak. She started walking toward the door again, pushing past the aliens who barely moved aside for her. Behind her, she could hear them still talking and laughing. Finally, Vera said, "Now the air can clear of that human stench." Lisa reached for the door handle, her hand shaking. She had never felt so small, so worthless. Maybe they were right. Maybe humans really were just pets, useful only for doing jobs that no one else wanted to do. Just as her fingers touched the cold metal of the door handle, a quiet voice spoke behind her. "Excuse me." Lisa turned around to see who had spoken. Standing near the back of the store was a man she had not noticed before. He was human, maybe in his 50s, with gray hair and calm brown eyes. He wore simple clothes, a plain black shirt and dark pants. That looked clean but not expensive. The man was not very tall, but something about the way he stood made people notice him. He had the kind of quiet confidence that comes from experience, not from trying to impress others. He walked slowly toward the group of aliens surrounding Lisa. "I said excuse me," he repeated politely. His voice was not loud, but somehow everyone in the store heard him clearly. Vera turned to look at him, her silver patterns moving in annoyed swirls across her blue skin. "What do you want, human? Can you not see we are having a conversation?" The man smiled slightly. "I can see that. But the lady seems upset, and I was wondering if I could help." "Help?" The four-armed alien laughed. "What could another human do?" "To help? Unless you want to escort your friend back to the lower levels where she belongs." The man looked at Lisa with kind eyes. "Are you all right, miss?" Lisa felt more tears threatening to come. This stranger was the first person to show her any kindness since she entered the store. "I just wanted to buy a gift for my daughter," she sighed quietly. "That sounds like a wonderful thing to do," the man said. "What kind of gift were you looking for?" "A crystal pendant," Lisa said. "Something small. For her graduation." "Graduation is a big achievement," the man said. "You must be very proud of her." "I am," Lisa said, and for the first time in several minutes, she smiled a little. Vera made an impatient sound. "This is very touching, but you are both disturbing." "The other customers. Perhaps you could have your emotional human conversation somewhere else." The man looked at Vera calmly. "I apologize if we are disturbing you. I was actually hoping to do some shopping myself." The Vorthen manager floated over, his crystal body ringing softly. "Of course, sir. What were you interested in purchasing?" "I would like to see your finest crystals," the man said. "The most expensive ones you have." The aliens around them began to whisper. The green-skinned alien laughed. "You? The most expensive crystals? Do you have any idea how much those cost?" The man reached into his pocket and pulled out a small card. It was black with silver edges, and it seemed to shimmer with its own light. "Will this be acceptable?" The Vorthen manager took the card with one of his 6 hands. His 4 eyes widened as he looked at it. The card began to glow brighter in his crystal fingers. "This is ... The manager's voice sounded like breaking bells. "This is a military credit account, unlimited access." The whispers around them got louder. The silver-furred alien stepped closer to get a better look. "Military? Are you a soldier? Human?" "I serve in the fleet," the man said simply. Vera laughed. Her horrible bell laugh. "Oh, how impressive. A human soldier. I suppose you think that makes you important." The man did not seem bothered by her tone, not particularly. "But it does mean I can afford to shop here, if that was your concern." The manager was still staring at the credit card. Sir, this card shows access to very substantial funds. More than enough for any item in our store. Good, the man said. Then perhaps you could show me your premium collection. I understand you have some rare pieces from the Andromeda sector. Andromeda, Vera corrected him with a sneer. It is pronounced Andromeda, human. If you are going to pretend to know about galactic commerce, at least learn to speak properly. The man nodded politely. Thank you for the correction. I sometimes get the pronunciation wrong. I have only been to that galaxy a few times. You have been to Andromeda? The four-armed alien sounded surprised. Several times, actually, the man said. Beautiful place, very peaceful now. Now? The green-skinned alien tilted his head. What do you mean now? The man seemed to realize he had said something interesting. Oh, just that it used to have some problems with machine raiders about 15 years ago, but that all got sorted out. Vera's patterns were moving very slowly now, which Lisa had learned meant Zephyrians were thinking hard. Machine raiders? You mean the synthetic plague ships? That is what some people called them. The man said, nasty business. They wiped out 3 whole star systems before someone stopped them. Someone stopped them? The Vorthan manager's voice was very quiet now. The machine plague was stopped by the human defense fleet. It was all over the news broadcasts. Was it? The man looked genuinely surprised. I do not pay much attention to the news. Lisa watched this conversation with growing confusion. The aliens around them had stopped making jokes about humans. They were all staring at the quiet man with new interest. The human fleet saved millions of lives, the silver-furred alien said slowly. They destroyed ships that our combined forces could not even damage. I heard about that, the man said. Brave people, whoever they were. Vera's voice was different now, less confident. You said you have been to Andromeda several times. In what capacity? Work, the man said simply. Fleet business. Nothing very exciting. The green-skinned alien was looking at the man's clothes more carefully. Those are not regular fleet uniforms. No, the man agreed. I am off duty today. What is your rank? Vera asked. Her voice was much quieter than before. The man hesitated. For a moment. I prefer not to discuss work when I am shopping. It makes things complicated. The Vorthan manager was studying the credit card more closely. His 4 eyes were focused on something written in very small letters along the edge. Sir, he said, and his wind chime voice was barely a whisper. This card, has a name on it. Yes, the man said. Most cards do. The name, the manager continued, his crystal body beginning to change color from purple to deep blue. It says Admiral John Rivers. The store became completely silent. Even the soft alien music seemed to stop playing. Every eye was focused on the quiet man in simple clothes. Vera's mouth opened, but no sound came out. Her silver patterns had stopped moving entirely, frozen across her blue skin like a photograph. The man sighed and looked a little embarrassed. I was hoping to avoid that. I really just wanted to do some shopping. Admiral Rivers, the 4-armed alien said the name like a prayer. You are Admiral Rivers, the one who led the assault on the machine home world. Among other things, the man said modestly. Lisa felt her knees go weak. Admiral John Rivers was famous throughout human space. He was the hero who had saved not just human colonies, but alien worlds too. His face was on history books and news programs. And he was standing right here, in the store, trying to help her. You, Vera whispered. You saved my homeworld. Admiral. Rivers looked at her with those same calm brown eyes. Which world was that? Zephyr Prime, she said. The machines had surrounded it. My family, my children, they were all going to die. And then the human ships came, the Admiral nodded. I remember Zephyr Prime. Beautiful planet. Good people. I am glad we could help." Vera stared at Admiral Rivers with wide eyes. Her silver patterns were moving again, but slowly, like she was in shock. You really saved my world?" "The fleet saved your world," Admiral Rivers corrected gently. "I just helped coordinate things. It was a team effort." "But the report said," the four-armed alien spoke up, "that you personally led the attack on the machine command ship. That you flew your fighter into the heart of their fleet." Admiral Rivers looked uncomfortable. "With the attention. Someone had to do it. The machines were using some kind of shield that our big ships could not break through. A small fighter could slip past their defenses." "You could have died," Vera said quietly. "Yes," the Admiral agreed. "But if we had failed, billions of people would have died. Humans, Zephyrians, Vorthans, everyone. The machines did not care what species you were." The Vorthan manager was still holding the credit card, but his hands were shaking now. "Sir, I apologize for how your people have been treated in my store." "You did not treat me badly," Admiral Rivers said. "You were planning to show me your best crystals, remember?" "I meant her," the manager said, looking at Lisa. "The lady. We were rude to her." Admiral Rivers turned to look at Lisa, then back at the aliens around them. "Were you rude to her?" "I did not notice." The green-skinned alien shifted nervously. "We may have said some things, double quotes. What kind of things?" the Admiral asked. His voice was still calm, but there was something different about it now. Something that made Lisa think of steel wrapped in silk. No one answered for a moment. Finally, Vera spoke up. "We said that humans were primitive, that they were not as evolved as other races." "I see," Admiral Rivers said. "And what makes you think that?" "Well," Vera said, but she sounded much less confident than before, "humans are a young species. You have only been in space for a short time. Your technology is not as advanced as ours." Admiral Rivers nodded thoughtfully. "That is true. We are fairly new to space travel. Only been doing it seriously for about a century." He paused. "Of course, in that century, we have made some interesting discoveries." The silver-furred alien leaned forward. "What kind of discoveries?" "Well," the Admiral said, walking over to examine one of the crystals. "Take these beautiful gems you are selling. They come from the Andromeda Galaxy, correct?" "Yes," the manager said. "They are mined from the crystal caves of Andromeda 7. Very rare and valuable." "Indeed they are," Admiral Rivers agreed. "Beautiful planet, Andromeda 7. I remember when we first found it." "When you first found it?" Vera asked. "Oh yes," the Admiral said casually. "The mining operation there was started by human geologists. Dr. Lisa Kim and her team. They discovered the crystal caves about 12 years ago." The aliens looked at each other in confusion. "But," the four-armed alien said, "we have been buying these crystals for years. The Vorthan Mining Company has been operating there for decades." "Have they?" Admiral Rivers asked with interest. "That is strange, because humans were the ones who first mapped that system. We set up the mining operation and then invited other species to participate. The Vorthan Company came later as partners." The Vorthan manager's crystal body was turning a deep purple color. I was told that Vorthans discovered those caves." "Perhaps there was some confusion in the records," Admiral Rivers said politely. "It happens sometimes. Communications across galaxies can be tricky." He moved to another display case. "These crystals here, they are from the Centauri system, correct?" "Yes," the manager said weakly. "Ah, Centauri," the Admiral said with obvious pleasure. "Another place with interesting history. Did you know that system used to be completely uninhabitable? Poisonous atmosphere, deadly radiation, no way for organic life to survive. But there are 3 major colonies there now," the green-skinned alien said. "Yes, there are," Admiral Rivers agreed. The terraforming project took about 20 years to complete. Quite an achievement of engineering. Terraforming, Vera said slowly. That was done by the Galactic Council, was it not? The Galactic Council approved the project, Admiral Rivers said. But the actual work was done by human engineers, Dr. Robert Chun and his team. They developed new techniques for atmospheric processing that had never been tried before. He walked over to a third display, and these beautiful blue crystals here. From the Vega system, another interesting story. The aliens were all staring at him now, and Lisa could see worry in their eyes. The Vega system, Admiral Rivers continued, used to be plagued by space pirates. Terrible problem. Ships could not travel safely through that region for years. Many good people died. But the pirates were defeated, the four-armed alien said. The Galactic Security Force wiped them out. Well, Admiral Rivers said, the Galactic Security Force did help with the final cleanup. But the main pirate base was destroyed by the Human Defense Fleet. Operation Starlight, we called it. Took about 6 months to hunt down all their ships. He turned to face the group of aliens. It is funny how these stories get changed over time. Humans do something, but then somehow the credit goes to someone else. Very strange. Vera's voice was barely a whisper. Are you saying that humans have been responsible for all these achievements? Not all, Admiral Rivers said fairly. Other species have done many wonderful things too. The Zephyrian art galleries on Nexus Prime are absolutely beautiful. Vorthan poetry is some of the finest in the galaxy. The music created by the Centauri colonies is incredible. He paused and looked around the store. But it seems like whenever humans do something good, people prefer to forget about it, or give the credit to someone else. The silver-furred alien spoke up nervously. Perhaps we were misinformed about human achievements. Perhaps, Admiral Rivers agreed. It is easy to be misinformed when you do not look closely at the facts. He walked back toward Lisa, who had been listening to all this with growing amazement. You know what I find most impressive about humans, though? What? Vera asked. Their character, Admiral Rivers said simply. I have served with humans for 30 years. I have seen them in battle, in peace, in times of crisis. And you know what? They never ask for credit. They never demand recognition. They just do what needs to be done. He looked at Lisa. Like this lady here. She works hard every day, fixing things, keeping this station running. She saves her money to buy a gift for her daughter. She does not complain about the hard work or the long hours. She just does her job. Lisa felt tears in her eyes again, but this time they were different tears. And when people are rude to her, Admiral Rivers continued, she does not fight back. She does not make a scene. She just tries to leave quietly, with dignity. He turned back to the aliens. That is what I find most impressive about humans. Not their technology or their military victories, their character. The way they treat others, even when others do not treat them well. The store was completely quiet. Now, every alien was looking at the floor, unable to meet Admiral Rivers' eyes. Now then, the Admiral said, his voice becoming cheerful again. I believe the lady was interested in buying a crystal pendant for her daughter. Shall we see what you have available? The Vorthan manager's crystal body was glowing a deep blue color now, which Lisa thought might mean he was embarrassed. Of course, Admiral. Please let me show you our finest collection. He floated toward the back of the store, where the most expensive crystals were kept in special cases. The other aliens followed, but they moved slowly, like they were walking through deep water. Admiral Rivers gestured for Lisa to come with them. Please, miss. You were here first. You should have the first look at the best crystals. Lisa felt strange walking past all these wealthy aliens who had been so cruel to her just minutes before. Now they stepped aside to let her pass, and none of them would look at her directly. The manager opened a case that had been locked behind a force field. Inside were crystals that took Lisa's breath away. They were bigger and brighter than anything she had seen before. Some were clear as glass but filled with swirling colors. Others were solid colors that seemed to glow from within. One crystal was shaped like a star and floated in the air, spinning slowly and casting rainbow patterns on the walls. "These are our premium pieces," the manager said. "Each one is unique, formed over millions of years in the heart of different suns." Lisa looked at the price tags and felt dizzy. The cheapest crystal cost more than she made in 5 years. The most expensive one cost more than she would make in her entire lifetime. "They are beautiful," she said quietly. "But I cannot afford anything like this." Admiral Rivers picked up the star-shaped crystal. It was about the size of his fist and glowed with a warm golden light. "This one is lovely. What can you tell me about it?" The manager's voice was respectful now, very different from how he had spoken to Lisa earlier. "That is a solar crystal from the Rigel system. It was formed in the core of a dying star. It is said to bring wisdom and courage to whoever wears it." "Wisdom and courage," Admiral Rivers repeated. "Perfect qualities for a young graduate." He turned to Lisa. "What is your daughter studying?" "Xenobiology," Lisa said. "She wants to study alien life forms and help different species understand each other better." "A noble goal," Admiral Rivers said. "The galaxy needs more people like that." He held up the crystal. "I think this would be perfect for her." Lisa shook her head. "Admiral, I cannot accept that. It must cost a fortune." "Actually," Admiral Rivers said, "I have an idea." He turned to the manager. "You said earlier that this lady was disturbing your other customers, that her presence was bad for business." The manager's crystal body flickered nervously. "I may have been hasty in that judgment. Perhaps," Admiral Rivers said. "But I am curious about something. How much business do humans bring to the store?" "Humans?" The manager looked confused. "Well, not very much. Most humans cannot afford our prices." "I see," Admiral Rivers said. "And how much business does the human defense fleet bring to this station?" The manager's 4 eyes widened. "The fleet? Well, when fleet ships dock here, they bring thousands of personnel. They spend money on food, entertainment, supplies." "Quite a lot of money, I would imagine," Admiral Rivers said. "And where do you think all those fleet personnel live when they are not on duty?" "Many of them have families on the station," the manager said slowly. "Yes," Admiral Rivers agreed. "Families with children who go to school here. Families who work jobs here, like maintenance and engineering. Families who shop at stores like this one when they have special occasions to celebrate." Lisa began to understand where this was going. The Admiral was not just defending her. He was defending all humans on the station. "In fact," Admiral Rivers continued, "I believe humans make up about 30% of this station's population. And most of the critical systems that keep the station running are maintained by human workers." The green-skinned alien spoke up nervously. "We did not realize that humans were so important to the station's operations." "Of course you did not," Admiral Rivers said, "because you never bothered to find out. You just assumed that humans were not worth your attention." Vera had been silent for several minutes, but now she stepped forward. Her silver patterns were moving in slow, sad swirls. "Admiral Rivers, I owe you an apology. I owe all humans an apology." "You owe her an apology," Admiral Rivers said, pointing to Lisa. "I was not the one you insulted." Vera turned to face Lisa. For the first time, she looked directly into Lisa's eyes. "I am sorry," she said. "I said terrible things about you and your people. I was wrong." "Why?" Lisa asked. "Why did you say those things if you knew they were not true?" Vera was quiet for a long moment. "Because it made me feel superior," she said finally. "It made me feel like my people were better than yours. I did not want to admit that humans might be as good as us, or maybe even better in some ways." The 4-armed alien nodded. I think we all felt that way. It is easier to look down on others than to admit they might have something we do not. And what is it that humans have? Admiral Rivers asked. The silver-furred alien answered, humility. You do great things, but you do not brag about them. You help others without expecting anything in return. You work hard without complaining, added the green-skinned alien. Even when the work is difficult or dangerous. You sacrifice for each other, Vera said quietly. You put the needs of others before your own needs. Admiral Rivers nodded. Those are good qualities. But they are not uniquely human. I have seen aliens show the same courage, the same selflessness. The difference is that humans do not think these things make us special. We think they just make us decent. He picked up the star crystal again. Which brings us back to this young lady and her daughter's graduation gift. The Vorthan manager's body began to glow brighter. Admiral, please. Allow me to make up for my terrible behavior. The crystal is yours, no charge. That is very generous, Admiral Rivers said. But I have a better idea. He reached into his pocket and pulled out another credit chip, this one silver instead of black. This is my personal account. I would like to buy this crystal for the lady's daughter. And I would like to make it clear that she is purchasing it herself, with her own money, which she earned through honest work. He handed the crystal to Lisa. Your daughter sounds like an amazing young woman. Please give her this with my compliments. And tell her that the galaxy needs more people like her. Lisa took the crystal with shaking hands. It was warm to the touch and seemed to pulse with gentle light. Admiral, I cannot repay you for this. You do not need to repay me, Admiral Rivers said. Just keep being the kind of person you are. Keep working hard. Keep loving your daughter. Keep treating others with kindness, even when they do not deserve it. He turned to address all the aliens in the store. And maybe, next time you meet a human, you will remember this conversation. You will remember that judging people by their species, or their job, or their clothes, is not just wrong. It is stupid. The manager processed the payment and carefully wrapped the star crystal in soft cloth. Ma'am, he said to Lisa, you and all humans are welcome in my store anytime. I will make sure my staff knows this. Vera stepped forward again. Lisa, is it? I would like to do something to make up for my behavior. I have connections at the Galactic Institute. If your daughter is interested in advanced xenobiology studies, I could arrange for her to receive a scholarship. Lisa's eyes filled with tears. You would do that? After everything that happened? It is the least I can do, Vera said. And besides, the galaxy really does need more people who want to help different species understand each other. Admiral Rivers smiled. It seems like something good came out of this after all. He started to walk toward the door, then paused and turned back. Oh, and one more thing. That human smell you mentioned earlier? Vera looked embarrassed. Yes? That is the smell of honest work. It is the smell of people who build things, fix things, and keep the galaxy running. It is a good smell. You should learn to appreciate it. With that, Admiral Rivers walked out of the store, leaving behind a group of very thoughtful aliens and one very happy human mother. Lisa stood outside the crystal store for several minutes, holding the wrapped star crystal against her chest. Her hands were still shaking from everything that had happened. She could hardly believe it was real. Through the glass doors, she could see the aliens inside still talking in quiet voices. Vera was speaking to the manager, making gestures with her hands. The other customers were examining crystals, but they kept looking toward the door where Admiral Rivers had left. Lisa started walking toward the elevator, but her legs felt weak. She found a bench near a large window and sat down. Below her, Earth turned slowly in space, blue and green and beautiful. She had lived on that planet for the first 20 years of her life, before moving to the station for work. Excuse me, a voice said. Are you all right? Lisa looked up to see Admiral Rivers standing beside the bench. He had a concerned expression on his face. Admiral, Lisa said, starting to stand up. I did not see you there. Please sit, he said. You look like you need a moment to recover. That was quite an experience. Lisa sat back down, and Admiral Rivers took a seat beside her. For a few minutes, they both looked out at Earth without speaking. Admiral, Lisa said finally, why did you help me? You do not even know me. Admiral Rivers was quiet for a moment. I helped you because it was the right thing to do. But also because you reminded me of someone. Who? My mother, he said with a small smile. She worked as a janitor in a big office building when I was growing up. Every day, she would come home tired and dirty, but she never complained. She worked hard to give me opportunities she never had. Lisa felt tears starting. Again, what happened to her? She died about 10 years ago, Admiral Rivers said. She never lived to see me become an admiral. But I think she would have been proud. I am sure she would have been, Lisa said. The thing is, Admiral Rivers continued, people used to treat her the same way those aliens treated you today. Like she was not important because her job was not glamorous. Like she was less valuable because she was not wealthy or educated. He looked at Lisa. But my mother was one of the strongest, smartest, most caring people I ever knew. She taught me that the measure of a person is not their job or their bank account. It is how they treat others, especially when no one is watching. Lisa wiped her eyes with the back of her hand. Your mother sounds like a wonderful woman. She was, Admiral Rivers said. And so are you. The way you handled yourself in there, staying dignified when those people were cruel to you, that took real strength. They sat in comfortable silence for a while, watching the stars through the window. Finally, Lisa spoke up. Admiral, can I ask you something? Of course. Those stories you told about human achievements, about the mining operations and the terraforming projects, were they all true? Admiral Rivers nodded. Every word. There are dozens more I could have mentioned. Humans have done incredible things. In the last century, medical breakthroughs that saved millions of lives, engineering projects that seemed impossible, acts of heroism that most people never hear about. Then why do not people know about these things? Lisa asked. Because humans do not usually brag about their accomplishments, Admiral Rivers said. We do the work and move on to the next problem. Other species are better at publicity and taking credit. He chuckled. Also, some people prefer to believe that humans are primitive. It makes them feel better about themselves. It is easier to think you are superior than to admit you might have something to learn from others. Lisa thought about this. Do you think things will change after today? I think they already have, Admiral Rivers said. Word will spread about what happened in that store. People will start asking questions about human contributions to the galaxy. And maybe, just maybe, some attitudes will begin to shift. Just then, the elevator doors opened and Vera stepped out. She looked around until she spotted Lisa and Admiral Rivers on the bench. She walked over to them, her silver patterns moving in nervous swirls. I hope I am not interrupting, Vera said. But I wanted to speak with you both before you left. Of course, Admiral Rivers said politely. Vera turned to Lisa. I have been thinking about what happened in the store. About the things I said. I want you to know that I have contacted the Galactic Institute about your daughter. The scholarship I mentioned is real. Full tuition, plus living expenses for a 4-year xenobiology program. Lisa's mouth fell open. You are serious? Completely serious, Vera said. I also spoke with the station manager. There's going to be a new policy about discrimination in all the shops on the upper levels. What happened today will not happen again. She paused, looking embarrassed. I also wanted to apologize again. Not just for today, but for years of thinking badly about humans without really knowing anything about them. Thank you, Lisa said. That means a lot. Vera looked at Admiral Rivers. Admiral, I have a question for you. Yes? When you saved my world, when you led that attack on the machine fleet, did you know that most of my people looked down on humans? Admiral Rivers considered this. I had some idea, yes. Then why did you do it? Why did you risk your life too? Save people who did not respect you? Admiral Rivers smiled. Because it was not about respect. It was about doing what was right. Those machines would have killed billions of innocent people. Children, families, entire civilizations. I could not let that happen just because some adults had foolish prejudices. Vera's patterns moved slowly. Across her skin, you are a better person than I am. No, Admiral Rivers said firmly. I am just a person who has had good teachers. My mother, my fellow officers, friends like Lisa here, who show me every day what real strength looks like. He stood up from the bench. Speaking of which, I should let you get home to your family. Your daughter is probably excited to hear about her graduation gift. Lisa stood up too, carefully holding the wrapped crystal. Admiral, I do not know how to thank you. Just be yourself, he said. Keep working hard, keep loving your daughter, keep being kind to others. That is all the thanks I need. He started to walk away, then turned back. Oh, and Lisa? When your daughter becomes a famous xenobiologist and helps different species understand each other better, remember that it all started with a mother who loved her enough to save up for a special gift. Lisa watched Admiral Rivers walk toward the elevator. Just before the doors closed, he gave her a small wave. Vera was still standing beside the bench. He is quite remarkable, is he not? Yes, Lisa agreed. He is. So are you, Vera said quietly. I hope you know that now. Lisa looked down at the crystal in her hands, then out at the stars beyond the window. Tomorrow she would give this gift to Amy. She would tell her daughter about the scholarship, about the opportunities that were waiting for her. But mostly, she would tell Amy about the importance of treating all people with kindness and respect, no matter what species they were, or what jobs they had. She would tell her about the quiet courage of doing what is right, even when no one is watching. And maybe, someday, Amy would pass those lessons on to others. Lisa smiled and headed for the elevator. She had a graduation to celebrate.